they are unable to actually get to provide basic facilities for the students because of lack of the disbursement of these funds is not done timely. So we are asking for Baba to actually get to have this allocation of this funding to our institutions, for our institutions to be able to actually get to give basic funding to actually our students, so that basic services such as even health can be able to be given to the students. We have an economic influx in our institutions where due to this we are getting issues on insecurity, issues on students actually lacking food, students actually not being able to actually get to meet their basic needs in a day. So through even the allocation of these funds and sorting out the economic influx that we have in these institutions, I know those issues are going to be tackled hand in hand. Lastly, I believe we're in a Kenya where all of us are Kenyans, and none of us here are Asians by any chance. None of us here, we are here to actually get to accommodate everyone. So if the needs of all these people actually we actually get to cater for all the needs of these students, I know we'll also get to actually deliver the mandate of humanity to our students. Otherwise, those are my remarks to begin with. Thank you so much. And as we get to deliver our mandate, let's get to shed light on the issues of comrades, and let's be at the forefront to ensure that their needs are catered for and they are well articulated. Otherwise, thank you so much, and God bless you.
Comrades power. Comrades Ria. Thank you so much. Because of time, let me just call the second speaker from Catholic University of Kenya, Madam Kemunto.
Comrades power. Comrades Ria. His Excellency Honorable Railla Odinga, my area MP, Mr. Babu Owino, our leaders and fellow intellectuals, good afternoon. Before you is Frida Moseti from Catholic University of Eastern Africa. My good friend from KU University has already pinpointed a few, but I'll just have to concur with what he has said. To begin with, there is an issue of cost of living for the students in campus. We comrades, we are suffering. Right now, I can tell you that, as a matter of fact, not all of us can afford to have 3 meals in a day. Ni ukweli ama uongo? Ni ukweli ama uongo? We have come up with the term of Kuinama. Comrades, we are not even able to put food to our tables. We should look into that matter. Even the mess is expensive for us to afford food there. This leads us to the issue of mental health. Mental health in our country has been at stake. Recently, we've had cases of students committing suicide. Ukweli uongo? Why are we committing suicide? Because we don't have a way forward of how we are staying in campus. Our parents back kule mashinani, they cannot afford to pay for, cannot afford to sustain our living in campus. Life has become so hard until at points we feel like it's even pointless for us to be at school. So that's one issue that needs to be looked at. Secondly, it's about the student election process. We have had the issue of, since the Duale bill, whereby we only have the delegates electing for us the president. We as the students, we are saying we are calling for universal suffrage. We want the policy of one man, one vote. Ama vipi? Ama vipi namna gani? So that is what we are calling for. And lastly, as I finish, we have had issues of police brutality and human rights issues being violated to the students. Just the other day, our president from Kabianga University has been given 1,000 days off school because he tried to protest for the sake of the rights of the students. That's something that we need to look at. Otherwise, sina mengi kwa hayo machache. Shukran.
Thank you so much for being as brief as a cock on a hen. Comrades power. Comrades Ria. Thank you so much. Let me call Pius Muruki, all the way from Tharaka Nithi University.
Thank you very much, His Excellency, the President of the People, the Father of Democracy, Engineer Honorable Railla Odinga, His Excellency, the MP of the comrades who has stood with comrades, and forever we shall stand together, Honorable Babu Owino, and all protocols observed. Honorables, comrades power. Comrades Ria. I have some few points to articulate here in the presence of the houses of democracy in this country. And number one, it's comrades' freedom. Comrades, when we speak about democracy, we have seen it, student leaders being suspended for 1,000 academic days just because of speaking of what should be spoke. Yeah? What should be spoken out. We have seen a student leader from Kabianga University, Comrade Power. The president of Kabianga University was expelled for 1,000 academic days, and the government is still there supporting the same. We comrades, we appeal to the government. We have to stand and speak. Comrades, power. Demonstration, it's constitutional. Are we together? Demonstration is constitutional. We have observed police brutality in Multimedia University in their previous demonstration about help. Machakos University end demonstrations last week. They were brutally treated by the police. The SG Machakos University is here. Confirm that. Yes, exactly. Comrade power. Another thing is about new funding model. And as comrade, we vote no. Are we together? As comrades, we vote no. Number one, we were not incorporated in coming up with new finance model. Number two, it's a huge and expensive amount to a comrade. When universities have amended their fee structures, as a comrade, we have guardians and parents who we rely on, right? Our parents are burdened with high cost of living. Our parents are burdened with high taxation, those who are working in civil servant. Will they be able to lift this burden from comrades? Comrades power. Kwa hayo machache na mbarikiwe sana. Pleasure.
Comrades power. Comrades power. The power should come out because it is the only power after the power of the Holy Spirit. Comrades power. Thank you so much. Let me now welcome from the University of Nairobi, Madam Esther. Please step forward and articulate some issues from the University of Nairobi. Karibu.
Comrades power. Comrades power. So my name is Gitaranga Esther. I am the president of Women Students Welfare Association in Kenya. So our body basically takes care of the rights, privileges, and opportunities for the girl child across all universities in Kenya. The major issue that we are having right now, His Excellency, every year I do an orientation of first years when they are joining campus. And the major problem that we are having is that the issues are there, they are written all over, but they are not practiced on the ground. Whenever these girls have issues, they speak them out, but then there are lawyers who are required, there are documentation that needs to be done, and it requires a lot of money. So my plea to His Excellency, I would request if we can have a national body that accommodates female students such that they can report the issues and they can get pro bono services. Because especially the young students who are joining campus, they do not know how to maneuver around the city. They are getting their freedom for the first time, and therefore they are being manipulated a lot. They get these issues, they will report to me, but I do not have lawyers to take them to court and help them with these cases. So if we can have a government provision where female students can be helped, whether these cases can be taken right to court through pro bono services, because comrades hatuna pesa, sindio? Yeah, so I would really like this to be taken into account to help the female students. And then mentorship at the national level. We are glad that Baba is holding the hand of young female students. We have seen him hold Tabitha and she's doing really well. And thank you for always working with us. So if we can get mentorship at the national level where these girls can come and meet the national levels, share their journey with us so that we can learn how did they go through this. Because again, we are living in a society that patriarchy is taking over. So when we have an opportunity to meet people like His Excellency who are not gender biased, we are really lucky, and we would appreciate if he would take us into his camp. For now, I'll stop there. Thank you very much. Thank
you for offering the wisdom. Comrades power. Let me welcome Mugambi Kibwi, the Secretary General of Pwani University. Mugambi.
Comrades power. Aye, comrades cannot be bored when Baba is around. Comrades power. Comrades power. His Excellency, Comrade Railla Odinga. His Excellency, Comrade, Senior Comrade Babu Owino. All leaders around, all students, leaders around. Good morning. My name is Mugambi Kibwe, Secretary General Pwani University, and a student of political science. First of all, let me thank Baba for accepting the invite to have a talk with comrades, and so that we can articulate problems that is affecting comrade fraternity. I want to concur with all what has been said by previous speakers here, and I would like to insist on comrades election. Baba, nowadays we don't have comrades election. We have institution appointments. Because you cannot tell me that delegate system is a student election. How can we be using a United States of America method to elect leaders here in universities? Whereas we expect them to come in our society to get elected using one man, one vote system. Is it applicable? No. Sini ukweli. Comrades power. Comrades power. Sisi zote tumeingia na hiyo system, but we are not comfortable. Sini ukweli. We are not comfortable, Baba. We want universal suffrage because delegate system is killing student leadership in our country. That's why you cannot see leaders like Babu Owino. Vile Babu Owino alikuwa anasimamisha Nairobi, siku hizi ni ngumu, tuseme tu kweli, si ndio? Ni ngumu. You cannot fight it. Babu Owino, we have a question to you. You are our senior comrade, you are our member of parliament. Tulikutuma pale. I've been campaigning for you on Twitter mpaka ukanifollow. Babu Owino, tulikutuma utupiganie tuletewe universal suffrage. I hope your turn ikifika ya kuongea, tell us mahali umefikisha hiyo process. Because niliona barua ikiwa tabled ikisema hiyo process iko otherway. But up to now, I'm not, okay, Niko Dhandia, I can even vie again in Pwani University if I'm interested. But I don't expect to use a delegate system again. I'm expecting to use a universal suffrage if I will be interested like the way Sarova was interested at the divide that they won. So, tumechoka na delegate system. Again, Baba, tumechoka na online voting. Online voting inafanywa tu. Last election, they used online voting, of which ile bando administration impose their molds hapo. Pale si wanafunzi, sisi tunachagua mtu lakini administration inacheza pale na kandi zao. We are tired of that. Tunataka wale students tumetuma wakuwe ni wale students wameenda kutupigania. So I'm insisting on issue to do with student election. Again, we have a lot of insecurities in our universities. That is the fact that we cannot run away from it. Sini ukweli, comrades? Comrades power. Comrades cannot be burned when Baba is around. Comrades power. Comrades power. Baba, we are tired of insecurities in our universities. Kila kukicha ni vifo. Even a few weeks ago, we lost our comrade in Pwani University. Aliuawa within the institution. Within the institution. And up to now, the DCI has not given us a report. Yeah, what happened, nini iliuyu mwanafunzi, and what have you. Baba, we request you to talk about insecurities in our institutions and to tell the government, because you are our president, by the way. Baba, you are my president, and you are our president here. Comrades power. Comrades ria. Comrades wisdom. Baba, you are our president. We are requesting you to command the government institutions which are dealing with security matters, that is Interior Ministry, to ensure that comrades are safe, and if we are not safe, they are also not safe. And again, when comrades are going to demonstrate, when they are going to practice their right, Please, we are requesting the government of Kenya, the police, not to fight with comrades. In fact, when we go to demonstration, we go peacefully. If police decide us to fight with them, we fight with them. Wakiturushia tiangas, tunawarushia mawe na tuogopi, sawa sawa. Bakini salama.
Thank you so much, Mugambi. A short man is not a? Short man is not a? Thank you so much. Let me call the last speaker from this end, the chairman of Maseno University, Elisha Oyugi. Please step forward, Elisha, so that you can talk to the comrades. Comrades, power. Comrades, Ria.
Yeah, thank you very much, Fred Makajos, His Excellency Honorable Railla Odinga, His Excellency Honorable Babu Owino, and fellow intellects. Good morning. Comrades, power. Comrades, viva. Comrades, ria. Comrades, I want to address the issue on youth involvement in policy making. Youth involvement in policy making. We've not been involved in decision making. Like, for example, our wish that we were involved in the issue of the new funding model. At least right now, our comrades could have received their fundings, their scholarships and all that. So this is something that we have to question and we have to condemn, that it is a high time that comrades or the youth be involved in decision making and policy making. Comrades, let us not go into slumber. Let us rise up. Let us wake up and take our place that has been forgotten by our leaders. I usually say that a consultative leader is the most outstanding leader. If you don't want to consult, then you are not a leader. Comrades, I believe that you consult your fellows. That's why you are here today. In this meeting, we are here to consult Baba on the same, that why were we not involved in the decision making, in the policy making on matters new funding model. So it is our request, and again, we demand that we be told the criteria that was used to put in place the new funding model. Because I remember when these students were supposed to join, some of them deferred, because you can see it in the fee structure. It is reading 200,000, and when you look at your family, what you can raise is only 30,000. So this made a lot of comrades to defer even before stepping into our campuses. So it is a high time that we do a follow-up. We want to start with how many comrades are at home who never managed to join our campuses, so that they can join the campus and they be funded as it used to be. May God bless us all as we continue fighting for comrades. Thank you.
Comrades, power. Comrades, ria. Thank you so much to the members who have talked, and all the issues that you've articulated are well documented in the mind and in the brain of His Excellency Railla Odinga. First and foremost, let me recognize MDD members who are former student leaders. Tabitha, stand up and wave. Rachel Tabitha was a former student leader, a former vice chair of KUSO, and currently a member of MDD and the chairperson of YALA. Thank you, Rachel Tabitha, and continue with that spirit. Comrades, power. However, a lady is intelligent, she can never urinate on a wall. Comrades, power. Let me also recognize MDD member who was a former student leader at the University of Nairobi, Comrade Victor Marende.
Comrades, power.
Power.
Comrades, power.
Power. Comrades, ria. Let me also recognize another former student leader, Honorable Babu Owino. We will have a chance to speak with you. Chairman, wave to the comrades. Thank you very much, comrades, for coming to meet with Baba. The only thing that I would urge our current comrades to do is one. Let us follow the footsteps of the people who are ahead of us. Not all of them did the right things, but the few who did the right things, let us follow those footsteps. The few who did the bad things and they are still doing the wrong things, let us not follow them at all. Comrades, power. Because in the spirit of Ubuntuism, we have to work together. We have to care about our neighbors, and we have to see the welfare of everyone in the society. And that is what we need to agitate for. And that is what Railla Amolo Odinga stands for social democracy and inclusivity of everyone. Comrades, Ria! Otherwise, it is not my day to speak. It was the day of the student leaders and His Excellency Railla Amolo Odinga. Let me take this golden opportunity to welcome Chairman Babu Owino to talk to the comrades. Chairman, karibu sana. And we still refer to you as the chairman, not an honorable member. Thank you so much. Thank you, comrade.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, His Excellency, the great Railla Amolo Odinga. Baba the Great, whom we owe our loyalty. To Baba the Great, who has made us be where we are. To Baba the Great, who is the people's president. Thank you so much. To the student leaders, the chairmen who are here, stroke presidents, to the secretaries general, and to other student leaders in various positions. Good morning. It's still morning. Good morning. I'm Babu Owino, Member of Parliament in Embakasi's constituency and a former comrade. I was the longest serving student leader on earth. I think I still hold that title. And Baba, this dual bill that has always been a problem to comrades was brought because of my many contests at the University of Nairobi. And the then Parliament saw it fit, in their wisdom or lack of the same, to pass a bill that was targeting an individual. But this bill has since destroyed, I'm using the word destroyed selectively, the lives of comrades, because this bill has not given an opportunity for comrades to elect their leaders directly through universal suffrage. And Baba, student leadership, as you know very well, has played a fundamental role in this world. Globally, we've had serious revolutions, uprisings, that changed lives for the better. In America, we had the civil rights movement that was started by students, comrades, during the War of America and Cambodia. When we go to South Korea, we had the Gwangju uprising caused by comrades, students. You come back to China and Taiwan, we had what we call the Tiananmen Square protest stroke massacre caused by comrades. Come back to Africa, we have the Arab Springs caused by students because of lack of economic opportunities, corruption, and unemployment of the youth, who are the majority across the globe. Come back to Kenya, when Baba was fighting for multi-party democracy. Students were at the forefront. But fast forward, what are we seeing nowadays? Comrades are not working. Comrades are sleeping because their leaders are not doing anything. We want to work on the Duale bill. And Baba, the status of that bill, so far, we've already passed the committee stage. We are going for the second reading stage. That is the committee and then the committee of the whole house, where we will pass this bill. It is something that it is just a matter of time and we shall pass it. But that is not the issue, because even during my time, we had very strong student leaders, and equally we had student leaders who were doing nothing. And history still remembers them up to date. And those student leaders went through the universal suffrage. They were elected. For example, without naming names, at any particular time that we were holding demonstrations which are enshrined in the Kenyan Constitution, we used to come together as student leaders. But there are those universities who also felt that they had their right to defend or rather protect the government.
Those student leaders went to bed with the government. They were elected through universal suffrage. And Kenyatta University was always very notorious. Very notorious. And if you look at where their student leaders are, the former student leaders, at least you'll get one or just two somewhere. But the rest, there's one who contested for MCA Baba just outside Kenyatta University and failed. Because of the atrocities that these student leaders were committing during their time. As a student leader, the process of getting a student leader during your tenure is through the electoral college system. Now you are a leader. What are you doing? Why are you quiet when Kenyans are suffering? Student leadership, or rather the students, should form part of opposition at any single time. During Mandamano, when we were holding Mandamano, because of the high cost of living, you are nowhere to be seen. Just save for a few student leaders who were there. But the majority were nowhere to be seen. Why? Because you chose to be with the oppressors. And we say that in the end, God will punish both the oppressed and the oppressors equally. The oppressed shall be punished for accepting oppression, while the oppressors shall be punished for oppressing the oppressed. So you should you should know what to do with that information. So as comrades, let us try. Because students are suffering from yourself. If you look at your background, from the slums you are coming from the villages you are coming from. Look at your parents. They are suffering. So this opportunity that has been bestowed on you is for you to deliver to the comrades. Do it. Even if it is not for the comrades, it is for your own good as a student leader. It forced me, Baba, to call some student leaders we met. They held demonstrations, and you saw. Nowadays, Machakos University, they are really doing better than any other university in terms of demonstrations. And congratulations. I've been following up, and you are doing a good job. University of Nairobi is dead. Kenyatta University is dead. Maseno University is dead. Egerton, Moi, dead. So as student leaders, TUK that is just close here, dead. So as student leaders, what are you doing? We have issues ranging from the cost of living that you should be talking about, to issues affecting the lives of students in campus. Nowadays, student leaders are scared of suspensions and expulsions. Yes, the most important thing that took you to the university is to get a degree certificate. The second most important thing that you can come out with from the university is either a husband or a wife. The third most important is the fact that you are working for comrades. But nowadays, Baba, the student leaders cannot lead anything. Instead of being leaders, they are nowadays dealers. They are dealing. They go to these cabinet secretaries, they go to these offices. There is no way you can work as a student leader if you befriend people in government. Because how then will you do your role under the doctrine of separation of powers, checks and balances? You should be providing checks and balances to the current government. But you cannot deliver if you are in bed with those people in government, because you're already conflicted. So as comrades, let us try as much as we can. Being suspended, being expelled is an occupational hazard in leadership. Once you are a politician, once you are a leader, there are certain things that may or will happen to you. Number one, you can be arrested anytime and taken to prison or seek an asylum. Number two, you can die. Oh, comrade, the senior comrade is here. Comrade James Orengo. Karibu, Governor. Karibu. Keti. Asante sana. That's a senior comrade from the University of Nairobi. So, number one, you can be taken to prison anytime as a comrade, as a leader. even in the national platform, or you can seek an asylum. Unaweza wacha nchi yako anytime utoroke. Number 2, you can die anytime. But there's a Latin word that says memento mori, that eventually either way we will die. So even if you die now or die tomorrow or die in 100 years time, you will still die. True or false? So you should not fear death. Naona another senior comrade hapo, Gabriel Oguda. Sawa kabisa. Number 3, you can enjoy also. But most importantly is service delivery to your constituents. So the issue of arbitrary suspensions and expulsions we can handle in 2 fronts. Number 1, by going to court, the litigation process, because education is entrenched in the Constitution as a fundamental human right. Number 2, we can talk to the vice chancellors, and I've been doing that a lot. And I want to thank Professor Kiama from the University of Nairobi, the vice chancellor, the current vice chancellor. Baba, around 202 students were suspended / expelled from the University of Nairobi by the time I was leaving. When I became a member of parliament, they were all brought back. As we speak, from the University of Nairobi, all those students who were suspended and expelled, even from 10, 12 years ago, were brought back to campus. So that is a person who at least is doing something. So through Baba and even myself, will be ensuring that we talk to these vice chancellors so that you are given an opportunity to clear your education. So you should not fear being expelled or suspended. As Babu Owino, the first time I received my suspension was in my first semester when I was vying for Secretary General in an organization called ONUS in Chiromo campus. I was suspended, and may his soul rest in peace, Professor George Albert Magoa Omori. He said that I should be, actually he was recommending that I ought to have been expelled. But when I went to talk to my principal, Professor Irungu, she gave me another chance. And Professor Magoa accepted that chance. So he gave me another opportunity. That's why when we were vetting Professor Magoa, I was the first person to support him, because at least he gave me a chance. So as a student leader, you should not fear. And in fact, if you are sitting here and you've never been expelled or suspended, then you are not a student leader. You need to look for one at least, because it will form part of your history. The most important thing when you are holding demonstrations, do not destroy university property. The moment you touch university property, you will be suspended or expelled. The moment you leave the university precincts, then that is not a university affair. It now becomes a police affair. With police affair, we have Comrade James Orengo here. He will appear in court for you. So there is no problem. So that is concerning suspensions and expulsions. I've addressed the universal suffrage. Now, on your part, you will have to promise us, comrades, that your voice must be heard. You must come out and talk about these issues. There's a problem as we speak. I was talking to Baba the other day. Baba was advising me on how the price of fuel in Tanzania is lower than the price of fuel in Kenya. But Kenya is giving an excuse every other time that because of the war between Russia and Ukraine, which when we were campaigning, Ruto himself was saying that that is not the cause of the cost of fuel. If you look at Russia, the economy of Russia is growing as there is recession in the United Kingdom. And Russia is selling its oil products cheaply to the members of BRICS. If you look at the war between Israel and Hamas that they are quoting again, yet in Tanzania, the price of fuel is going down. So this war is only affecting Kenya and not Tanzania. But you see, again, we got somebody who is not intelligent. That is Ruto. Lacks wisdom, lacks intelligence, lacks everything. Why? Because simple economics states that if you increase taxes, you will literally create low demand. With low demand, there will be low supply of any good and service. So how then do you want to collect revenue? That's why now they are so desperate, including collecting taxes in everything. So I want to leave it at that, and I want to wish you all the best as comrades, but promise us that the moment you leave here, you should not be pushed. You should just do your role as a student leader. I did it, that's why I'm here. Why it not for being a student leader? Why it not for student leadership? I would not be here today. I would not be a member of parliament. So, comrades, you must do something. Asanteni sana. God bless you. And I want to take this opportunity to welcome Okay. Makajos wants to give an opportunity to one or two, and then we call comrade. Just shortly.
Thank you, Comrade Chairman. I just want to recognize Brian Kotieno played a critical role at the Technical University of Kenya when he was a student leader. Kotieno's mama, because of comradeship, is still here today. We have our friend Beast from the Technical University of Mombasa, stand up. He's currently vying again, and he needs our support because of comradeship. So we will have to support you because you belong to this side of the government. This is also another government. One thing that Babu didn't tell you, that we used to talk to national issues when I was the Secretary General of KUSA and he was the chairman. When Baba said Waiguru must go, we were the two people together with Comrade Barede to call a press in front of the university, in the highway, and even vehicles could not pass. Comrades power. Thank you so much.
In fact, on Makajos, this was a very strong student leader at Maseno University. And during our time, we never even used to meet. We just communicated on phone. We were meeting online. Then we say tomorrow, it is either the comrades' way or the highway. And we always chose the highway. And we made it happen. So Makajos, asante sana for the great leadership that you provided to comrades across the country. Marende is also one of the student leaders, the longest serving student leaders. There's a way, comrade. This man is a special in a way, Baba. At the University of Nairobi, he used to contest, and he also won 4 times, unopposed. You know, contesting unopposed is the most difficult. To convince your opponent not to contest. So he also won elections 4 times at the University of Nairobi. We served with him in Sonu. Na tambua tabi pia hapo for leadership. Now I'm taking this opportunity to welcome the senior comrade, Comrade James Orengo, who was a leader at the University of Nairobi and the current governor, Siaya County. Comrade, karibu.
To the People's President, Right Honorable Railla Odinga, Comrade Babu Owino, the entire leadership of the student movement from wherever you come from, Comrade Power. Comrade Power. I didn't know there was this meeting going on, but I'm glad that I came when the meeting was going on. Babu, if the qualification of a student leader, the following, which you have mentioned, I've been imprisoned, so I qualify on that basis. I've gone to exile, so I qualify on that basis. And I've been beaten many times. I have not died. And there's an American who used to say, when you're fighting a war, you don't die for your country. You make the other person die for his country. Because if you die, there will be nobody fighting. But I just wanted to say 1 or 2 things. When I was at the university, luckily, the level of international student solidarity was very high. We had, solidarity with Dar es Salaam University Students Organization, the Guild at Makerere, And there used to be a movement based in Prague, the International Union of Students. So whenever there was a problem at the University of Nairobi, because of that international solidarity, including students who were expelled, including somebody like Oki Ombaka, I remember, fighting very hard for him to go to Dar es Salaam University, courtesy of the International Union of Students, which was a worldwide student organization. At the time when I was a student leader, the Secretary General was a Sudanese and also a member of the Sudanese Communist Party at the time. But my point is this: I think the country is at a crossroad. If ever there was a time to make change happen, it is now. It is now. Baba, I was at the Council of Governors meeting in Narok, and the view that is emerging that everywhere people are very angry with what is happening in the country, particularly the cost of living. And some of them from the Kenya Kwanza counties were saying quite loudly that if there was Mandamano now, then the hottest places would be the Kenya Kwanza areas. So if there was a time to make a difference or to make change happen, it is now. And the old tools of organization and mobilization, when Baba and I were in the student movement and there was a lecturer at the University of Nairobi, are very different because you had to physically organize rallies. You had to physically, use leaflets. At 4 o'clock in the morning, we'd be, dropping leaflets at bus stops and so on. But now, organizing people for change to happen is a lot easier with communications being what it is today. And even without going around with a van like this one, you can organize a meeting. What happened in Cairo that brought down Mubarak was something which was not organized through rallies, but through the internet. And suddenly, Cairo was full of activity and demonstrations. So I want to urge you, looking at the past, the stopping the war in Vietnam, in America, was students. Bringing changes in Europe, there was a time when in Europe, the student movement was very strong, and a lot of changes happened. Even here in this country, at least at the time we are at the university, I think a lot of changes came when we were fighting out there in the streets. So I think it is your time. And it's not only your time, it's your time when you have a great leader in Railla Odinga. So don't watch from the sidelines. Do not be afraid, because cowardice, like they say, you'll have to die 1,000 times. But if you're able and prepared to face the dictator, I think this is the time to do it. So how we organize, I think that's why we are talking. But I hope that you will have courage, patriotism, and let's make change happen in Kenya. And it can happen this year if at all we work together and make that change happen. Asante sana, asante sana. Yeah, now it is Baba's time.
Hello. Comrades power. Comrades power. Comrades power. And this is better. You may be seated. Thank you so much, and I feel very delighted to have an opportunity to meet with you this morning. I was somehow ambushed, but I said, yes, I'm ready to meet them and see them, their faces. So I've heard so many things that you guys have talked about. I noted the issue of funding of the education in the country, the funding model. the disbursement. You talked of the cost of living. You talked of mental health in the university, which is now acute. You talked about police brutality, academic freedom. Then you've also talked about the electoral process, universal suffrage. You talked about the girl student and the problems that they face. You talked about insecurity in the institutions. Then you talked about involvement in decision making, and of course the funding model and so on. And then generally the fear that you talked about. You see, it is Shakespeare who said in Julius Caesar that I don't know why you should fear death, that death is a natural evil that will come when it will come, that cowards die so many times before their death, but the brave don't taste of death but once. But another friend of mine said, you should never fear at all. If you are sick, you should not fear, because you'll either be treated and you'll recover, or you will die. If you recover, you don't need to fear anything. But even if you die, you don't need to fear. Because when you go up there, you will either go to heaven or go to hell. When you go to heaven, you have nothing to fear. But when you go to hell, also you have nothing to fear. You meet so many of your comrades. You'll spend a lot of time just greeting them, saying, how are you doing? Before your time comes to go to fire. So don't fear. You don't need to fear anything. Okay? So, Jim has told you, where we are coming from. I myself was a student leader in Europe. We used to have what was called Federation of Kenyan Students in Europe. And I was the Secretary General who organized all Kenyan students from Ireland all the way to the Urals. That means Soviet Union in those days. And we used to meet and organize ourselves and actually make contributions that assisted the people who are struggling back here at home. We were members of the International Students Union, which James has just referred to, which is based in Prague. At that time, the leader was from Angola, a member of what they call MPLA, which is now the ruling party in Angola at that time. And this students' movement actually assisted the liberation movement back at home. In those days, Zimbabwe was still called Rhodesia, struggling. Mozambique, Angola, Guinea-Bissau, Cape Verde were still under the Portuguese colonialism. South Africa, apartheid was ruling supreme in South Africa. Then the student movement those days actually fought and assisted the freedom fighters. We also organized scholarships for young people who were there in the bush to come to Europe and get education at that time. Now, when we came back here, the university students from Nairobi were very, very fundamental in supporting the movement for change in the country. And they suffered for that. Jim here was the student leader when I was myself member of the academic staff at the University of Nairobi. They used to be arrested. You see the central police station is just next door there. And then there was Mzungu. What was the name of that Mzungu? Who was the Nairobi area. But then there was another one called Patrick Shaw, who was very notorious. He coming down there to beat up the students. But they stood very, very firm. There were quite a number of them who were arrested. Some of them were expelled. After him, the late Oki Ombaka. Before that, there was a Wori Wakataka. And then there were several other student leaders who were actually arrested or expelled from the university at that time. That is a time when the erosion of academic freedom had started in our institutions. And this has continued to this struggle for freedom of movement, freedom of association, freedom of speech, particularly academic freedom at the university, has been very much part and parcel of the struggle for democratization in our country in general. And you see that there is always an attempt to try to muzzle the student voice. There's no doubt that this amendment was moved by one who is now the Minister for Defense to deprive the students with the right to elect their leaders of choice by bringing the so-called delegate system. I see. But as Babu has told you, this matter is coming back to Parliament. And our instruction to our members is to ensure that you go back to universal franchise. One man, one vote. One man, one vote, 1 shilling. Okay? We will work to see that this happens. Then, this issue of funding model which they have brought here, it's very confusing. It is not quite clear because they're talking about those without any means who will get 100% support, those with some little bit of ability or support, and then those who don't require support at all. And you ask yourself, where is the barometer? How are you going to test the temperature? You will see that so and so parents are employed, but that fellow who is employed is actually supporting 10 students or children. Somebody is probably earning less down here, but is only supporting one student. This student went to a national school. Then it's assumed that the student has got means. How do you know? Going to a national school is just because of the marks that you received at the examination. And maybe your uncle can offer to sponsor you. Or just a friend with the family can offer to sponsor you because you've done well. That does not mean that this fellow is going to sponsor you at the university. So all these things they're coming about with are things which are not been tested. They are basically like people who are walking in the dark. And then the issue of using police in the institutions of learning is again something that we have condemned very strongly. That universities should be allowed to do their things, and the police should not be used excessively in the universities. Students should be able to engage and dialogue with the university authorities. That is the civilized way of running universities. But we are dealing with a state that has gone rogue too early. Too early. And that is where we are having these problems. Now, we set down ourselves as members of Azimio and looked at education in a country. Because education is what actually differentiates societies. You find a country like Japan does not have any kind of natural resources of any of repute. Japan does not have minerals, does not have gold, does not have oil, does not have uranium, and so on and so forth. But Japan is number 3 in the world in terms of economic development. How? Basically because of the quality of education of the Japanese people. That is what has put Japan where it is. They use their brains to create wealth. And this is what has been lacking on the African continent. Because Africa is the richest continent on the planet Earth in terms of natural resources. The paradox is that the richest in resources is also the poorest. That the living conditions in Africa is far much below the other countries which do not have as much resources as Africa has. And that is what we said we wanted to correct. And it can be corrected. But it can only be corrected by empowering the African people. Right from the African child going up. And here you must talk about the girl child and the boy child. Give them equal opportunity to be able to realize their natural talents. This is why we said that we want to start by creating free primary, secondary, and even university education. And then, because then you have empowered the people. But we also talk about the quality of education. What kind of education are you giving these people? See, today we have a problem here, where you have got universities all over. When we were here, when Jim was a student here, they are some of the first students to join University of Nairobi. It used to be University College of Nairobi. I was employed by University College of Nairobi, which was a constituent college of the University of East Africa, whose headquarters were in Makerere, in Kampala. So Nairobi was a campus, Dar es Salaam was a campus, and Makerere a campus. At that time. Then, of course, eventually we got University of Nairobi. Then now eventually we started Kenyatta College. We used to call it Kenco. It also became a university. Then the proliferation of universities now all over the country. We now have, I don't know how many public universities. How many? 72 universities in the country. But what is important is the quality of education which is coming out of these universities. It's important. And this should be looked at in terms of demand for skills in the country, so that education is relevant to the demands on the market in our country. You see, you find a situation here where you've got many companies around looking for people to employ. And then you have got many people with certificates from universities looking for employment. but they're not employable here. The jobs which are available are not commensurate with the qualifications of those who are demanding the jobs. So we need to find a way in which we can match the demand of society with what is being trained in our schools of learning, in universities, so that there is no gap. Some people have papers, but these papers are not useful to them. So we need to make it relevant. I've been telling people that, look, how does China manage to come from a poor third world economy to number 2 in the world, threatening the United States? In the next 10 years, China is going to be the biggest economy in the world. How did they do it? They did it by first making education universal and ensuring that they give people relevant qualifications, the people, highly skilled. So when they liberalized and they found the companies from the West who were looking for destinations where there's cheap labor, they went to China. And there they found highly skilled, cheap labor in China. And that's why they went and made China. China became the workshop of the world. You go, you find Samsung is manufactured in China. Daewoo is manufactured in China. Mercedes, Benz, Volvo, Peugeot, Toyota, Ford, all manufactured in China. But I used to work in the Mercedes company factory in a place called Stuttgart. They told me that it is cheaper to manufacture Mercedes now in China, ship it back to Germany, than the one which is manufactured in Germany. So China became the factory of the world. Now China has been able to build the biggest middle class, 500 million people, middle class. Chinese middle class is bigger than the entire population of the United States. Nearly double. So now China is no longer the cheapest. A vacuum is building down there, which Kenya can actually fill with proper policies. But you cannot do it if you've got mediocrity and the kind of rogues and thieves running our affairs. These thieves will take us nowhere. The cost of living, which Jim is talking about here, will not go down when these thieves are in charge. This cost of living will not go down. You see, today, people are suffering all over. If those who are saying that demonstrations by Azimio inaharibu biashara yetu, all the oil companies will come and bid to supply the fuel. And when the tender has been opened, and goes and brings it, they came up with what they're calling G2G, that themselves are now buying directly from Abu Dhabi and from Saudi Arabia. But they themselves are the ones who are making the commissions. That's why the cost of fuel is going up. That money is actually ending up in the pockets of the same people here. Umbwa inakula watoto yake. Okay? So we are together, comrades. Are we together? Are we together? Comrade power. Comrade power. Comrade power. Asanteni sana. Thank you very much.
Comrade power. Comrade power. Wacha baba itwe. Wacha baba itwe. Baba, thank you very much for your wisdom. You are like a granary. You know, when a granary burns, you'll be crying of your maize which is in the granary. So, Baba, for your wisdom, we thank you and we still pray that you live long. We are going to have a plenary because Baba is headed somewhere. We are going to have a question from two comrades. Then afterwards, we'll have a vote of thanks. Afterwards, we are going to have our beautiful ladies here with Baba on TikTok. They are going to walk as they will be marching. That is how we are going to do our TikTok session, led by Rachel Tab. After a vote of thanks, we'll have a photo session, comrades with Baba and our national leaders who are here. Then that afterwards, we are going to have the TikTok move with none other than Baba himself and the most beautiful ladies who are here. Thank you so much. Let me now, I want to open the plenary, but we are only going to have the names that you had selected. So we should not scramble because these are your representatives. One of them, we want to start with Kennedy Sankara. Kennedy Sankara.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Unity from within. Sawa. Baba, in our generation, the old men fought for independence. You, together with senior comrade James Orengo, you fought for democracy. As grandparents fought for independence, the senior comrade Baba Railla Odinga, together with James Orengo, fought for democracy. Baba, in your speech, as young people, we only seek for advice on what we are going to generational goal. What are we fighting for as this millennial? Because as Generation Z, we have my friend here, Steve. Steve is a valor, comrade of valor. Steve, when I was arrested, let me tell you, this impunity has been there forever. He followed me to ensure that the police do not abduct and kill me. And my freedom was secured. Together with Davis here, who went with him to the office, and even the senior environmental political time you call for a meeting, we beg that you pass the mic to the comrades here so that they speak to you. You are a man, young people to consult with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, comrade. A question, your name. The next one is Beverly Ogaga from Daystar.
Thank you very much. It is my singular pleasure to meet you, Right Honorable Railla Odinga. Now I have a question. Baba, all the issues that have been addressed here triggers down to three things. One, high cost of living. Employment among youths and universal suffrage. Now my question is, this thing has been sung every time and every day. It's as in it's a song of the day. To high cost of living. If you look at the police brutality in the university, all this is about the university suffrage. And about the youth advocacy, you're being told to come out as youth, and Right Honorable Babu Owino said, let us come out and speak and stop slumber. Baba, I want to tell you, it is so sad, and for lack of a better term, most of the people being elected using the delegate system, 90% of elected vote or elected using this system, sadly, I will call a spade a spade. They are not leaders. And for lack of a better term, most of them are fools. For lack of a better term. We have people who are left behind, people who contested, na wanaachwa. With the delegate system in Akwanga, if you are vocal, you are being dim. If you get a chance one, the school in Angalianga, what do we do with this person? You are not be given a chance. These people cripples you. So Baba, kindly, let it not be a song. Babu Owino, I have faith in you. Let this not be a song. If you can push it by next year, kindly. Then about the youth advocacy, how are we supposed to be given a platform? You mentioned, oh, youth, let us not sleep. You know, it's not a matter of saying, let us do not sleep. How are we to come out? We are hungry. And Baba, I want to tell you, if you assume, you know, when Hanbin, I was in class 6, there was a story of Hanbin Spain. Is Hanbin Spain? And if right now you are going to say, if in Hanbin Spain is Hanbin Spain, most of the people are going to be a victim when the hunter comes to hunt for the Hanbin. Kindly let us take remedy and measures to cap this solution, and let us not give empty talks. As I conclude, everything comes to an expire and everything ends, whether you like it or not, sadly. Baba, we appreciate you, and we really appreciate the things you've done. And we really appreciate for you to nurture some of the leaders to come and support us. And we as people of Baba, because the things you've done, I see Babu Owino in yourself. I see Babu in you. And because of age, sisi wote tunaelekea kule, na maybe one time tutakuwa wazee wote, and that is why tunasema everything comes to expire. We have generations come and go. Baba, it is our humble plea. People from Daystar requested, and people nationwide, because we interact with people. As you look at people in your eye and the leaders you have, the Babu Owino, we see Babu in you. Please support Babu Owino. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that wisdom. The second took, please, you be brief as a cock on a hen. And the nini from Moi, tell her come. From Moi come. Kuja tu simame hapa.
Thank you. I'm Peter Ogutu, the Secretary General, Technical University of Kenya. My question is it possible to bridge the gap between the national leaders and student leaders to bring closeness and a good work relationship between those two cadres of leadership? And two, is it possible to have a general national student election so that we can have an effective national student body to enable us to drive forward student agendas and issues and anything that concerns students? Thank you.
Thank you for being brief. Tell her from Moi.
To former Prime Minister, the Sierra Governor, who is our governor, and the Member of Parliament for Embakasi East, the fellow honored student leaders, Kenyan student leaders. Good afternoon. It's afternoon already. To Baba, from Moi, ours, we don't have a question. We'll just have a concern and a contribution because we were not given chance. I'm Williams Odhiambo Atela. I'm a student president of Moi University, Kenya, and I came all the way up to here. We're swearing in is tomorrow, and we're even rushing. Maybe we need to be in Eldoret again. So I've been flanked by my other confidants here. Jared is here. Can wave to the crowd. This Moi University fraternity. Huga Godana, Goodko. Yeah, those are the guys who are accompanying me. Thank you very much. Now, Baba, my only contribution is on mental health. Depression, as you are aware, depression among university students is a great concern. And it has led to not only suicide, but also unplanned pregnancies, HIV, AIDS, as a result of depression. Comrades are depressed in Eldoret. As a result, we have high cases of school dropouts. Most of the comrades have come out of school and they are suffering in silence. Our only plea to you, Baba, is that you have this as a concern and you find a way maybe how you can go about it so that at least our grievances, our issue is addressed. This is a matter of great appreciation because it affects all of us anyway. Thank you so much, Baba, and thank you so much all. Because of time, I'll stop there.
Thank you, Atela, for traveling. Masongo from Riara.
Comrades power. Comrades viva. Baba viva. Mine is very simple. Senior comrade Baba. Senior Council Orengo and Babu Owino. Are you available on Friday? The streets of Nairobi are very empty. Are you available on Friday? Okay, if what other date are you guys available? Because there's only one thing. We are available now. Okay. Makofi. Thank you very much for this opportunity. All of us here have opinions and have ideas of how we would like to have this conversation. But in as much as we would like to do that, we are inviting you to also join us in our demonstrations on Friday. We will be demonstrating on Friday. If they won't come, I will go. Okay, me and my family will go. So we will go to protest because the cost of living, the university fund is not correct. There's only one thing, memento mori. And myself, senior council can accept that there's something we call quita sed consentia. That when you keep quiet, it seems as if that you are agreeing to the status quo. And tunakubali hiyo maneno iendelee. Tunakubali hiyo maneno. So hiyo maneno sisi tumekataa na tunasema ya kwamba comrade wisdom. Comrade wisdom. Can you stop diarrhea by stitching ananas? You cannot stitch ananas to stop diarrhea. The government of Kenya is doing exactly that. The problem of Kenyans is economy, and you cannot solve problems with the economy by taxing people. It's like standing in a bucket and trying to lift yourself up. It is impossible. What we are asking now is for people to be involved in dialogues. I'll say this as I go to sit down. In my village, we did not have clean water. So one NGO came and decided to put clean water wells around the village because the river was very far. But 1 month later, they came to the village and they found that the women were still going all the 30 kilometers to go and get water. The reason was simple, comrades. The reason was simple, comrade. Comrade wisdom. The women were using the distance from the village to the river to gossip. So when they put the well near to the village, the women could not gossip enough. So they stopped using the well. This is what I'm saying. The comrade must be involved in these issues. Otherwise, whatever they are trying to solve will still go the way that we know. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for that wisdom. The final person, the SecGen, Machakos University.
Comrades power. Comrades power. Your Excellency Railla Odinga, our Senior Council, our Chair, and student leaders, good afternoon. I'm Wambi Samuel, the Secretary General Machakos University. I wish to comment one point before I ask a question. Baba, we as students, we are dying slowly because we are not eating due to lack of funds. One, the government told our first years to join universities without giving them clear information on how they are going to receive funds. And most of these first years are dying in villages because there was lack of civic education. Most of first years did not join universities. My question now goes to Babu Owino. Now that there was no civic education, how are we going to do to go and save those first years who are dying in villages? God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, comrades. Comrades, power. After the vote of thanks, we'll have a photo session here. Then afterwards, the TikTok walk from here, moving to the office. Comrades, power. Let me... I think for the questions, let me welcome back His Excellency, His Excellency Baba, to respond to the questions. Then we'll go to the vote of thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hello? Yes. Yeah, thank you very much. I've seen that there's a lot of interest in people making contributions. That those who would really wish to talk, they did not have opportunity. Next time we will give more time. You guys can talk louder. Now there's two issues. The issues which are within our powers, and those which are within our powers to do, we will do. But the others are without our powers, which are the other side. But first you talk about student leadership, not just within the institutions, but nationally. So I think first what we are trying to address is the issue of universal suffrage. That students in all the institutions where they are be given a power to elect their leadership. Once you've elected your leadership in particularly those respective universities, you've got the leadership Nairobi University, Kenyatta, Pwani, Maseno, Meru, Machakos, and so on. The leadership, those leadership will come together and then elect national leadership. So you don't need again to have all the students for the whole country coming to do the elections. Once you've elected the leaders from these various institutions, then they come and elect the leadership. So you've got the chairman of Kenya Student Organization, or whatever, the way it is. Are we together? Are we together? That, my view, is what needs to happen. With regard to this animal called the cost of living, we told these people several times, you are in the hole. Don't continue to dig. That is actually been the remedy all the times. Don't dig when you're in the hole. But they don't understand. You saw how our members of parliament fought very hard in parliament against this new tax bill, which eventually became now the tax law, an act. Because we're saying that increasing taxes is not the solution to the problem we're having. If you increase the taxes, there's always a tendency to evade. People will evade taxes. People, for example, are not paying. You've increased the tax on fuel. Many people are not driving. You don't have that jam on the street the way you used to have it. People are pulling to come to work. As a matter of fact, the consumption of fuel last month went down by nearly 15%. So the revenue that you want to get by increasing the taxes is not there. Okay? But then we told them, we are here, we've been here before. When we came into government for the first time in 2002, we found a collapsing economy. Economy was very, very poor. The Paris Club, the members of the donor community, had stopped giving Moi the money that they used to give him. So therefore, the collection was very low. We were only collecting 200 billion shillings The growth rate was actually minus. So it was negative. But then we looked at the status of the economy generally, and we realized where the problem was. First, we looked at the revenue side and the expenditure side. That is very simple economics. Where the money is coming from and how the money is being spent. That's where there's a problem. The revenue boys, the income tax, VAT, customs boys, then procurement officers in the ministries. Those are the boys in town. They're the ones who are buying apartment blocks in town. They're the ones who are driving the latest models of cars, Mercedes, Toyota, and so on. They're the ones who are building castles in rural areas. They're the ones who are building high-rise buildings in village markets. So if you do lifestyle audit, you catch them very easily. And we did lifestyle audit, and we caught so many of them. Some of them we sacked, some of them we took to jail, and hired new people. We came into government in January. Between January and February and June that year, the revenue went up by 100 billion shillings. So we were collecting now 300 billion instead of 200 billion which had been collected the previous year. The following year it went to 500 billion. 750, it reached 1 trillion shillings. Without increasing taxes, just plugging the holes where it was leaking, we increased revenue. We reached a stage where we were able to finance all our requirement, all the development projects. To 95% was being financed from domestic revenue. Only 5% was coming from out of the country. Yeah. Neither. Then on procurement side, we found under the Moi system, there was a procurement rule that said that any procurement above 100,000 shillings in value must be done competitively. You must advertise in at least 3 newspapers. There must be at least 3 bidders. And you procure competitively. You go for the lowest bidder. We found that because in each and every ministry there was a procurement officer seconded from the treasury who was in charge. We found that each and every procurement officer had 3 companies registered. And there was the kind of collusion. The one in health is supplying education. The one in education is supplying trade and commerce. The one there is supplying agriculture. The one in agriculture is supplying health, and so on and so forth. So if there's a tender, you'll get 3 bids, all of them from actually one person. And the prices were inflated. An item which is supposed to be bought at 100,000 shillings is bought at 5 million shillings. And that's where the government was losing money. The government was leaking. So once we subjected all these procurement officers to lifestyle audit and sacked some of them, because the government was now procuring competitively. The prices became less, so the government was able to get more. And that is how we succeeded. You see that the government of Kibaki has succeeded. It succeeded because of what we did. Right now, first the civil service is demoralized. They are bringing people from outside the civil service, being made permanent secretaries. Somebody who has never even been to Kabete to be trained in administration, does not know how civil service is working. is being recruited and made in there. It's just so and so long as it's from my tribe. From my tribe. These things are not going to get better because these people are actually messing up. They don't know how to run a competitive economy. Things will not change. And you cannot be one person, you're Mr. President. You are the permanent secretary in all ministries. You are the minister in all ministries. You know everything. Even if El Nino is coming, you're the one who knows the El Nino is not coming. The work which should be done by the director of meteorology is being done by you as a president. Everything, you must be talking about on everything. Even if somebody's wife, Nini, did not dress properly, you're the one who know. So this is where we have a problem. And so these people, they don't know that they don't know. And we are not ready to advise them because they know everything. Okay? Because they know everything. So you people have a responsibility to sensitize the people. Okay? Wherever you are. And when we blow the whistle, we should see you out. Communist power. Communist power. Communist power. Asante sana.
Comrades, power. Comrades, viva. Now we want to call Marende for vote of thanks. And before Marende speaks, we will remain there for...
Comrade Babu was asked a question. Let him respond briefly.
Thank you very much. Secretary General Machakos University, you did ask a question about civic education. I don't think we need to do civic education to our comrades because when you are in nursery school, your teachers prepare you to join primary school and they will tell you that you are going to join primary school. And when you are in primary school, they will tell you that you are supposed to go to secondary. And as a comrade, you must know that you are going to secondary after primary school. And when you are in secondary school, you will automatically know that the next level is university education or a college or tertiary education. Any comrade who doesn't know that should not be a comrade. Okay? So there are two things that happened in such a situation. If a comrade does not know that, then either probably that comrade has not passed exams. Okay? Which is also allowed. So I think the greatest problem why students have not reported to universities is because of the current funding model. Because the least course, an arts course, a social science is costing around 300,000 Kenya shillings. 300,000 Kenya shillings. Medicine is costing around 600,000 Kenya shillings. If a person does mjengo and as a student who is supposed to join a university, in mjengo baba kazi ya mkono, you earn 600 shillings per day. Assuming that this person is working for 30 days in a month. So that will be 600 times 30, which is 18,000 Kenya shillings per month. Then in a year, multiply by 12, which is 216,000 Kenya shillings, if I'm not wrong. So 216,000 Kenya shillings, you have other children, you have other needs that you're supposed to take care of. And then you have one comrade that you're supposed to educate at 300,000 Kenya shillings. So this is completely impossible. So these comrades have not joined because of the current funding model that is only considering 45,000 students. And as Baba put it right, that where is the yardstick to measure neediness? Students who are not needy are studying abroad, save for the ones who have scholarships. But any other person who is studying in Kenya, in a Kenyan university, is a needy comrade. And that comrade must be funded. So the old funding method was very fair. And as I finish, a story is told of a young man who was carrying a cross, Baba. So he was moving with this cross on his back. Then he realized that his cross was too heavy. Approached a store and saw a store written crosses for exchange. Then he got into the store, saw so many crosses, then chose the one that seemed to be the lightest among other crosses. Then took that light one, moved out, cheerfully knowing that at least now he will finish his journey. He only walked for 10 meters. Then that cross crushed him and he died. Comrades, student leaders, do not carry the government's cross. It is going to kill you. Be on the right side of history. This is how you will be doing your demonstrations very easily. Just mobilize around 500 students, which you can do. Then let demonstrations be done just outside the gate of your university, in every university. So if you announce it, it be done simultaneously in all those universities. Then you repeat the same thing within a month. You will get the result that you want, you will get. So first of all, start with this current funding model, because it is a burden on the parents. Asante sana.
Asanteni sana. My name is Victor Marende. To our captain and president, Baba Railla Odinga, thank you. And we are really honored for accepting to meet with this generation of comrades, to inspire and to talk to them, but again to listen to their grievances. Because the voice of comrades has always been the voice of God. And the voice against comrades, like the one of Ruto, is the voice of Satan. And the voice of Satan, every single day, as Comrade Babu says, must be condemned. Now, disloyalty to a comrade must be punished. And we say, thank you, Baba, and the team of elites that you have, Senior Comrade James Orengo, Senior Comrade Babu Owino, for accepting to endorse the fifth arm of the government. Because currently, as is instituted, we have 4 arms of the government. We have the executive, we have the judiciary, we have parliament, and we have Railla Odinga. Now, this fifth arm of government has been given a breath of life today. Comrades, power. Carry it on. And this is the candle you carry. Light it every single day, and we will support you. Thank you so much, Baba. Thank you, and may God bless you.